Okay. Sounds good. Okay.
There we go. Yeah, okay. I'll give it a few minutes before we start, but not, then it's gonna be just you and I, and gonna for a short class.
Isn't there somebody online?
Yeah, there's one more person.
We're good.
Yeah.
I learned a long time ago, the important ones are the ones who show up.
Yeah, but the ones that,
Those who are late, those who don't show up,
uh,
that's on them.
that's on them, absolutely. If you're paying me,
Hmm.
especially if you're
Correct.
paying to learn. You
Well,
think to me,
yeah,
yeah, they're wasting your money.
I don't believe I believe in being a good steward of money.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when I used to make my Marines turn off their monitors and speakers in the office.
Oh, yeah.
Because somebody did a study that in a 10-computer office, if you turned off the monitors and speakers every night,
Yeah.
you would save thousands and
Yeah.
thousands of dollars in a 10-computer office over the course of the year in
Yeah.
electricity.
Not to mention it's better for the system.
Yeah, and then they would fail to do it, I'd get on them.
Yeah.
And then they would say, why do we have to do this? And I go, look, you're criminal investigators. If I can't trust you to do a little thing like this,
Right.
how am I gonna trust you to investigate a murder case or a
Right.
sexual assault? Or
Okay.
something? They were like, oh.
Yep.
And when I started telling them I was disappointed, they begged for me to yell at them. You know what that's like though, don't you?
Yeah. All right. I know.
The soft-spoken word is more harsh than the loudly.
Ignorance works well. Ignoring people works just as well as screaming at them.
Sometimes better.
Yeah, okay. I'm not paying attention to you.
You give them, then you give them a chance. I had one, he needed guidance,
Mm-hmm.
and my role was to help guide him. He came in one day with a case, and he was like, blah, and I'm like, okay, am I gonna have 50 questions or 5 questions when you're done?
Mm-hmm.
If it's 50, leave now,
Come
and then
back.
come back.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'll be back.
Yeah.
But I gave him a chance to succeed.
Yeah, I got 50 questions. You probably do some more research, buddy.
Yep.
Check things out on your own when you get started.
But it is interesting how the different styles of, well, people who didn't lead well, I call them just bad managers.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it is, really.
Yeah.
Every day, you gotta,
You lead the people and you manage what they do.
yeah, gotta pay attention to your folks and what they're doing and who they are. Because, you know, one of the things they don't do well a lot of times. Figure out who the people are. It's not Marines, they, you know,
They have
individuals.
families, lives,
Yeah. And
parents, grandparents, siblings.
especially nowadays, these guys are definitely different, you know.
From when we came. Well, and the ones who were, you know, the master gunnings and the mass sergeants said the same thing about us when we came.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're closer to them than,
Yeah, now.
than they are now. They're totally different. Yeah. Like any questions, like I'm not trying to explain everything to you.
Yeah, I always gave my Marines the latitude of you can ask me why if you want to learn. If you're being defiant, I'm going to crush your little heart. Because in investigations, there was a lot.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but
There was a lot of nuanced things in different cases
Yeah.
and different stuff.
my guys always want to know why are we doing this, why are we doing that. Like I can explain it to you, but would you really understand this larger context? There's stuff that you know I can tell you as to why we're doing it, but that's a small piece of it that I know.
Right.
That's not the big picture. That's not the whole thing.
Yeah.
CO knows more. The CG knows more.
The commandant.
Commandant knows more. And then depending who we're supporting, they know more. I mean, there's a lot of different entities involved in the things that we do. So because you're the execute,
Right.
You know, you want to know what you're doing and know it well. And I understand you wanna know what role it plays, and you may find it stupid and mundane, but at the end of the
There's a
day,
purpose.
there's a purpose, and it's not necessary for us to ask, and we're never gonna know, because even the people that decide to do certain things, they might not even know why. Someone may have asked them, hey, can you do this favor for me, you know, on a very high level, leader to leader,
Star to star.
star to star, right? And so we come, good morning, Joshua. What's up?
Thanks.
Oh, man, how you doing?
Nice to see you.
Happy New Year, brother.
How are you?
I'm doing well, I'm doing well.
I'm Chris.
I'm Joshua.
Joshua, pleasure, sir.
Good to see, relax. We got another minute or so, and then we're gonna get going. We're gonna get started in about a minute. I'm just waiting to see, maybe the traffic is bad and everybody's taking their time. Yeah, I was dealt with that, but it was always good. I like when they ask questions, you
Yeah.
know?
As long as it wasn't in defiance, we were good.
Yeah, as long as it defines it with timing. Like, don't ask me when I'm like, hey, giving you a quick brief. I gotta go to eight
Gotta
other
go see the
meetings.
colonel.
Yeah, I gotta go see the boss, or I got some other stuff I gotta brief or get prepped, you know?
Well, and my roles were way different. I mean, I kept the station CO out of jail one time
Yeah,
because he made a wrong decision,
Mhm.
not knowingly, not purposefully.
yeah,
But then that's go to my boss with, hey, here's why this is wrong. We need to
Right.
let him know he needs to reverse course. So that was my role.
yeah,
That stuff.
yeah, that, I remember that whole sexual harassment, dealing with the SARC and.
Well, I actually worked on Sapro at the Pentagon.
Maybe.
Like I spoke twice in front of a congressional task force on sexual assault in military service. So the group, I spoke in front, like General Keane was on it,
And
the former chief of staff of the army, like there were more stars and eagles on that
Yeah.
panel, than you could ever, like it was like rows of stars and birds going all the way up. And I
Yeah.
was speaking in front of them. That was the first one. The second one was a smaller group, but yeah, I was a part of writing, like, writing pieces of DOD instructions
Okay.
for that. So I was heavily involved in all of that.
I know, that was always a,
No, trust me,
That's
to the
good.
point of contention, as an investigator, I can. The staff for the map for division out in Ramadi, that's a whole nother story. That was a unique guy, I hope he never recognized me.
it's just funny stories. All right, how's everybody doing tonight?
Wonderful.
Good, good. Everybody good on Zoom? No, yes, maybe. Not sure. Okay. I'm assuming everybody's there on Zoom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Okay. Any questions about First week, discussion, yes.
Second week.
Second week, okay, we'll get to that, any, comments about the feedback on your discussions?
Yes,
Yeah, I have one.
Yes, Joshua.
I think you asked us to do, just review a paper and then put.
An article, yeah, summarize it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I didn't know where to make other references from, citations from other,
Yeah.
you know.
No, yeah, so, that's your same question? Yeah. Okay, so when it comes to that, you don't necessarily have to get other, resources, right? Cause you're summarizing that particular article.
Yeah, but.
But you should still cite within that summary,
But it was.
but with the
stated-
article. That article, you should still, yeah, you still, because when you're writing when you're summarizing an article, yeah, you gave me the link, right? You gave me the title, but you should still cite, because I don't know what page you got that from. I know where you got it from, but I don't know if it's a direct quote. I don't know if it's something you just paraphrasing. I don't know. You still want to cite in support of your writing, no matter what, regardless if you cite or not. You always want to cite, right? I understand, that, hey, we're summarizing a paper, it's a known paper, right? I get that part, but if I'm reading it and I see something, and I say, okay, well, where'd you get that from exactly? What part? Who's, kind of like, did you get that from page 1, page 10, page 6? Right?
But
Go ahead.
it was stated there, like, don't copy paste, so that's why I didn't put any
Yeah.
quotations.
Yeah, but copy paste.
It's,
Yeah,
the way.
It's not
So
that
it was confusing.
No, but you
That's-
discussed that last week in class.
yeah. Copy paste is one thing. But when it says don't copy paste, mean don't just cut and paste it and put it there. It's not saying don't cite. It's just saying don't cut and paste. Don't copy it and use it. Don't plagiarize.
It sounds somehow like,
No, just.
please just give me where you pick, the topic
Uh-huh.
and where you get it, then give me the summary. you know.
Okay.
It's-
All right. I mean, I see your point of view, but I didn't really take too many points out, if any, really.
Professor, why?
But there's other stuff in there, but
But it's a lot, right?
it's a lot. Well, just remember for next time, no matter what you're writing, even if it's a summary of a article, still cite do in-text citation. Okay? Do in-text citation. And then if it's, it's that much of a heartburn, I'll go back and give everybody 1 point or something.
No, it's just like.
Yeah, no, if it was confusing or misunderstanding, it's totally get it, but just remember, yeah, when I say don't cut and paste, I literally mean don't cut and paste. Like, just don't copy the work. Not don't cite, don't quote it, you can quote it.
But then when you mean also citing the text, you just mean how anything is acceptable, paraphrasing, quotation,
Yes.
right? You don't mean like cite just like quotes, like citation, like from word to word. You just mean also like paraphrasing. Can you give us an example?
Yeah.
What you expecting, so.
Anyway, quick, all right, so if
If you
you,
don't mind.
okay,
You can pull mine.
no, I'm okay. If you're reading something, all right? So let's just say this sign here, right? It says faculty, let's just say I wrote it, okay? If I just take it, copy and paste it, boom, and just put it on my paper, and then turn it in, that's cut and pasting, that's plagiarism, okay? I don't want you to do that, all right? Now, if I take it and I put it on my paper and I put some quotes around it, and then I cite it, that's good.
Okay.
You're quoting someone, right? You're quoting someone, right? You're citing them, you're telling me, hey, yes, I took this word for word, but this is where I got it from, and this is how I'm using it, all right? Now, you could take it also, and you could paraphrase. Please turn off all computer, TVs, fans, whatever. So I'll just say, you know what, when you leave the classroom, you might want to turn the TV off, and then as you're walking around, check the room, make sure everything is okay, and then Hayes 2024. Okay, I paraphrased this. I took this as my source, my reference. I didn't use the same exact words, but the idea is there about, hey, check everything, make sure the computer's turned off, make sure the lights are off, make sure the chairs are in order. And I put, A's, and then 2024 is my citation, okay? Right there,
Okay.
okay?
Mhm.
So that's why it's important that you get the APA manual. Because when you get the APA manual,
I
it'll
just
show
wanna
you.
know.
Huh?
I just wanna know what the exact. thing
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Whether-
I want you to, I'd rather you paraphrase, yeah, there you go. I'd rather you I have it here. I'd rather you paraphrase, but sometimes you need to use a quote.
And when you say you just wanna have a quote in the middle of sentence or in the middle,
Yeah.
because I just was ready for your answer. Sometimes you say like you wanna have a citation in the middle of sentence. or
So-
middle.
So what it is, a lot of times people get confused is that they think citations go at the end of the paragraph.
I would put it at the beginning.
They don't go anywhere. Because citations are, very relative. So if you write a sentence and it happens to be the first sentence, you have to cite it. If the next sentence you write is another citable sentence, you cite it. If you go here 1, 2, 3, no, you don't have this, no citations, you don't say anything that needs citation, cool. And you may get to the end and say, oh, this sentence needs a citation. It's based on the sentence, on the statement. It's not just say, oh, here's a block. And then I'm gonna put a citation at the end, because that's gonna meet the requirement. It doesn't. Because that citation is to tell me that it's the sentence that preceded it. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Tell me. Unless I can read like 1 or 2, 3 sentences that are related, and then there's a citation that knows the same idea, then cool. But usually when you're writing, you cite whenever it's necessary. Because you could have a paragraph which says 10% of something is whatever.
Mhm.
You have to cite that. And then the next line say 25% of such and such is this. I gotta cite that too. Where did you get that statistic? All right? They're all individual citations. That's why it takes practice. All right? It takes practice. It takes time. It's not something that's gonna you can just pick up
I should
and
know it's in DBA, but every professor is different, so I just wanna clarify.
yeah,
The beginning.
they shouldn't be different. And unfortunately, I know what you mean, but we should not be different. We should be the same.
It's all EPA.
It's all APA. All right, it's all APA.
But
Now,
sometimes, yeah.
yeah,
Thank
some people don't necessarily focus on it as much as I do probably. So they may just say, oh, they don't worry about it as much.
Sometimes, like some professors like the statistics, I don't mean they do it different way, like different APA or different standard, but every professor is focused on something.
Different, yeah, different,
But
yeah.
I just wanna know you.
Yeah, I focus on the APA and the citation because when you start writing your dissertation, if you don't cite, it's not gonna go anywhere. It's not gonna go, you're not gonna make it. You have got to cite.
Just maybe.
Yeah, everything is cite, at the doctorate level because you guys are familiar with the Harvard University president,
Mhm.
right? She just resigned, right?
Mhm.
And because of all the stuff that's going on between Israel and Palestine, and they heard that I think it was the Princeton and the Penn State presidents for that. Either way, she had already been facing the allegations of plagiarism in her dissertation.
Mhm.
And other ones.
In other writings, yes, in other writings. So people were already scrutinizing her. And then, come to find out that, it really, she did cite, it just was that it wasn't enough. It was always misplaced, or there were places, area, they were just really being nitpicky to a certain degree. But the point is that they look at that stuff.
Mhm.
Now we're talking about Harvard,
Mhm.
That was
the president of Harvard, not a student, not a teacher, the president of Harvard.
It was
She-
50 different.
Right, she's getting scrutinized over
Oh,
citations.
the position.
Right, exactly, right? So for you as a student at the doctoral level, they take this stuff seriously. They're gonna look at it and be like, nah, where you get this from? you know, and it's not done right. The format has to be properly done, all that good stuff. So as you start writing over the next 7, 8 weeks, you're gonna get better. You guys have my class before, you guys know,
Yeah,
you guys know, right? I may have been more lax in the master's class, right? Maybe not as picky, right? And then depending what the class is, Joshua, you took stats with me.
Yeah.
I wasn't too picky on citations and stats. You know, because we weren't doing any real research, when I do real research with my statistics, I cite. When I write reports, I gotta cite, right? Even I have to cite, you know, my statistical analysis. What did I use? ANOVAs, okay? Not everybody understands ANOVAs, right? Mancovas or bivariate analysis. They don't understand all that. So I have to cite to let them know, like, okay, this is what it is, where I came from. Even though I'm in a room full of people that have doctorates and smarter than me, but not everybody's familiar with statistics. They have to cite, all right? But you'll get it. Okay, no problem. Any other questions? Zoom, everybody good on Zoom? No questions?
Yes, doctor, everything is perfect. Thank you.
Okay, cool. All right, so all in all, you know, the discussions were pretty good. And, like I said, just be my feedback. We should be good to go, for future stuff, okay? Shouldn't be any problems. Everybody had really good responses. I like the interaction with your peers. Everybody gave really good depth, you know, long, really good responses. And, you know, and a response to me does not count as a response back to your classmates. Yeah, you have to have two different responses replies to your classmates. You can reply back to me, but generally my reply is gonna be kind of short and quick and succinct, because I'm doing a whole lot of them. You know, I have 2, 3 other classes, so I'm doing 50, 60, you know, yeah, I'm looking at 50 or 60 of these things, all right? And so I'm very quick. I read it and I kind of figure out like what I like about it, and then boom, I'll let you know. Okay? All right, so let's jump into week 2, right? What we got for week 2? Week 2, we have the research discussion, but it's groups, right? And I see that Glorious went out and set the groups up, okay? Which is good to go, all right? So as long as you guys are happy with the groups and the way it's set up, I'm fine with that. That's the whole point, especially at this level. I'm not going to be forming your groups unless I have to, all right? You guys are grown students, and you should put together your own groups, right, and collaborate. So unless there's an issue with your group members, or you're not happy with the group, or, you know, you need to work that out amongst yourself, okay? And the other thing is, this is the format for weeks 2, 4, 6, and 8, all right? You can change up the groups if you want. It doesn't have to be the same group for all those weeks. If you want to work with somebody else in group in week 4, you can. Okay? You can do that. I don't mind. I'm gonna grade whatever submissions are presented to me, as long as everyone is in a group. Okay? So if you decide, you know what, I wanna work with Christopher next time, and just Christopher, that's okay. I'm okay with that.
It can be multiple groups.
What's that?
It can be more groups.
Yeah, it could be more groups. Yeah, it doesn't have to be just 2 groups. Yeah, it could be more. I know in the instructions it said group A and B, but it could be more than, you know, however you guys want to break it up, right? That way you can kind of get to work with everybody. If you decide, I just want to work with one person, or this specific topic that, you know, maybe Joshua is really good at, and you're like, oh, you know, I'm more for Joshua or whatever, or Zaire or Rad or whoever, right? Whatever you guys want to do, right? I'm not gonna control that. That's on you guys. As long as everybody's in the group, and when the work's submitted, I can see that everybody has participated in some shape, form, capacity, and their name is on the thing, and then, you know, you submit it, you're vouching for that person. Okay, so I'm not babysitting that part. What else? What else did you, any other questions on that?
No.
No, good? Anything?
Recording in progress.
Joshua, any other questions? Joshua, I don't think you record, I don't think you can do it.
Sorry, I'm trying to.
I'm gonna have it on the portal. Yeah, I think I'm gonna let you record while you're in here with me at the same time. Okay, so for Christopher's request, let me touch on the paper real quick, unless you have, what's your specific question?
No, just for the first, piece of the, so the paper itself at the end of the term
Mhm.
is a research paper based off of research that's already been done, and we're just going out with our idea and supporting our idea based off of research that's already been conducted.
Yeah, basically you're doing, it's a glorified lit review.
Okay.
That's all it is, really, at the end of the day. You're not doing any real research, right? It's like any other research paper. You're gonna go out, you're gonna find the literature, you're gonna read it, you're gonna synthesize it, and then you're gonna come up with your own thoughts and ideas, and then how can I use the references in the literature to support my thoughts and opinions and submit it, and, goes with a presentation, video, and it should be topic related to strategic HR. Okay?
And then for this week, it's just the title, and then you want the title and then a brief description of the topic.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so what they do is they kind of phase out each portion of the paper, all right? So this week is just the title. Give me the title and then a couple sentences as to why you chose the title and how it's relevant, or why you chose the topic and why it's relevant. That's it. Don't put too much work into it. Just make it short and sweet. I chose, that's my title and I picked it. And you can say, hey, I don't have a title yet, but this is the topic and I chose it because it's relevant, AI. A lot of people have been using technology as, kind of their core. That's fine, whatever. So, but don't get wrapped around the axle on it. Just topic, why you chose it, what it is, when you chose it. Okay?
Doctor, regarding the title of our research, do we need to put citation references in this assignment for this week, or only the main idea and the title of it?
Just the main idea. Yeah, just the main idea in the title. No citation. Did that answer the question?
Yes, doctor, thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so going back to the research discussion for week 2, the way I would like to see it is you have the PowerPoint, you put the PowerPoint on video, you record yourself on video, and you submit the video. Okay? Yeah, for the group. Yeah, for the group work. Okay, because there's a video that goes with this.
Okay, you mean video of each person, or you mean video?
No, video
of
of all of you as a group presenting, yeah.
And then your instructions say 2-minute video?
Yeah, it doesn't need to be long, yeah, it should be 2-3 minutes tops
So we're gonna do a
For
team
each
meeting?
person.
for each person. Yeah, no, for total.
Yeah.
Total.
Like if it's 4 slides, 30 seconds. per
Yeah,
slide.
yeah, it's total, yeah. It could be 2 to 5 minutes, that's fine, right? Don't forget, this is kind of like an LE. It's not anything crazy, so I don't want you spending too much time on it. All right, you want you to spend time on it, but not too much time. The point is really for you guys to kind of get together as a group and see how you work as a team. Okay, and present the material in a video format with the presentation, just like I do here, right? I present it, I'm on there, I record it, and then I upload the video. PowerPoint's there, I'm there, you guys are there. Okay? Don't upload a video and a PowerPoint and no, just one thing. It should just be one video that you upload that has presentation style like this, where everybody's kind of like your group members on the side, or whatever platform you use, Microsoft Teams or Zoom or whatever you decide to use, and everybody's having the opportunity to speak, and then you shut it down like, okay, well, this concludes our presentation, call it a day, and then you submit the thing, okay? And only one person needs to submit it. Not everybody needs to submit it, okay? So just one person out of the group needs to submit it, and it'll get attached to the whole group.
All over.
Yeah, okay? Everybody good?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'll go in and I'll look and see who's on the groups and do it that way. Because normally I would go into the system and make the groups, but because you guys might change groups up, I'm not gonna leave it, just leave it dynamic. Okay. All right, any other questions? No questions? That's it? All right, let's get rolling. All right, so this week we're gonna look at strategic management, if we can. There we go. All right, so some of this stuff we kind of talked about last week already, right? About strategic management and really strategic HR management, and really about how all the components within the organization really are centered around the operations, right? And how do we facilitate the support of what it is that we do, right? When we think about strategic, there's a certain timeline that comes into mind, right, for most folks when we think about strategic. It's a short term and it's a long term timeline, all right? Now, in the near term, you're typically looking at 3 to 5 years, all right? That's pretty short time span for most companies, all right? And then we're looking at longer term, we're looking at 10, 15, 20 years down the road as far as like, okay, what strategic initiatives are we planning on doing, all right? So based on that, right, we'll start to develop our approach as to, what is it that we're going to really claim to be our thing, right? How are we going to make decisions? Are we going to make decisions based on what we have in front of us? Are we going to make decisions based on what's going on externally? Are we going to make decisions based on, the global perspective because we are a multinational corporation? Are we staying domestic, all right? Internally, are we looking at different strategies in which we can maximize our people? Or are we looking at strategy we're going to maximize technology, right? Or other resources, right? How are we going to do capital management, right? How are we going to invest for future projects? How are we going to, mold and shape the workforce so that we're prepared later on down the line to tackle all these problems that are coming up, right? Mostly technology issues, right? When it really boils down to it, there's going to be a serious lack of people that experience enough in technology and understand it, that it's going to be kind of a drain as far as the knowledge base for people that can go into the workplace and actually be okay and comfortable working with some of this new technology, right? And so companies are starting to think about that right now, right? As far as like, okay, how do I, of course, implement AI, but do I have the workforce that can manage AI, right? It's not the same thing where, most people can troubleshoot a problem with their computer or Word or Excel. They can kind of navigate through that stuff, right? It's not the same when, when you have a AI system and you're trying to learn all the nuances about it, right? You have ChatGPT, right, which is a great AI tool, right? But behind the scenes, there's a lot of things going on back there, okay? Now, granted, ChatGPT is already in the workspace, right? A lot of people use it. And it's a great tool. But nonetheless, there are other things that come with that, okay? If you use ChatGPT on a regular basis and it's a tool within your workforce, right? What other things should you be thinking about as far as impacts on your workforce based on a certain use of the technology?
What are the ethical implications of things?
Okay. Definitely what are the ethical implications, right? Are people using it in the correct way, right? Are people using it in a way that is going to benefit the company and not them, right? What else?
Maybe the information is correct.
Okay, the accuracy of information, okay, right? So people are no longer relying on their own research. They're going to trust ChatGPT and take it for what it says, right, at face value. And there have been cases already where ChatGPT has been wrong, okay? And so now we have to worry about, validity, efficiency, accuracy, and all this other stuff, right?
What's excluded out of the algorithms for the AI to do things?
Okay,
There's a lot of exclusionary things out there that they're saying
right?
it won't do.
They won't do, right?
It'll deny. You want it to do something, it'll say, no, we can't do that.
Gonna do that, exactly.
And that's written because somebody writes that rule for you.
So there's limitations, right? Okay, limitations to how much and how far the data, the technology can be used and how it's implemented, right? And also behind the code, right? Are there biases in the code, right? Is there something that is inherently against women or against minorities written into the code that we're not very sure about? What are some other implications about it, about technology?
Will it replace the workforce?
Okay, yeah, we replace the workforce, maybe, yeah, definitely a concern, right? But it's, depends what you're saying. Oh, no. When you look, when you start to think about you as a leader and you're saying, okay, I'm gonna start, everybody's gonna start using ChatGPT, right? What are the things that you really, aside from things we talked about already, what's something that really that kind of sticks out to you about the workforce?
Will they just become lazier because they're relying completely on ChatGPT?
Perfect,
Will they
right?
stop thinking?
What's gonna stop thinking, laziness?
Now, maybe it can help you with your work to do it faster, so you can do something else.
It can, yes, it can make you more efficient, absolutely, right?
If you know how to use it, you are not
Right,
lazy from the nature.
right.
Additional knowledge will not be there.
Additional knowledge, what do you mean by additional
I
knowledge?
mean, people will not want to do more.
Got it, yes,
So,
okay,
to know more,
all right.
because these are programs, stuff
Mhm.
into the system, so it's just copy.
Right. So this is a big thing with technology and how companies are approaching taking AI specifically in the strategic initiatives, right? Across the board, HR, marketing, doesn't matter what it is, right? Is the technology going to create a void or a chasm in which people stop thinking out of the box? They're no longer innovative, right? They are relying specifically on technology to do their job and no longer thinking of different ways in which to attack the problem because they feel that the technology is providing the best answers, right? Which is not always the case, okay? So a lot of companies worry about how we're going to keep our teams relevant and trained and to the point where they are still being innovative and not solely relying on the technology to provide them with ideas or do the work for them. Okay? We can see this in, well, I know Christopher, you have. I don't know about Joshua, but when the last time you been in a library?
But 3 years.
3 years ago. Well, that's good. That's soon. That's relatively close, right? Most people, you ask most kids nowadays, even 25-year-olds and under, usually even 30-year-olds and under, they don't know how to go look for a book at the library. They don't understand it. The Dewey Decimal System, right? They don't know how to do that, right? Some kids don't know how to mail a letter. Some kids don't know how to write a check.
Tell time on a regular walk.
They don't know how to tell time regular watch. Yeah. And so, what's up? So, all these things are things that companies think about in their strategic planning, okay? Because, especially HR, because I'm gonna need a certain skill set of educated folks that understand things. Now, the Dewey Decimal System is, it's old, of course, right? But we still have libraries, okay? Some days Google's not working, right? Some days you just want to kind of show people how to do it in the old ways in case the power goes out. Okay, in case something dies, I don't know.
Always.
Was that always the old way? The old way. And go to the library, find a book using the Dewey Decimal System. Okay, mail a letter. Okay, write a check. Right, pick up the phone, write a letter. Most people, 25 and under, have never written a letter.
I don't know even how to open the mailbox.
You don't know how to open it.
Now I know, but I didn't know where is the door.
Where's the door, huh? So, but when we start thinking about strategy and start thinking about, okay, 3 to 5 years, right, 3 to 5 years down the road, how is our strategy? Is our strategy going to age well? Okay, the short term, a little better, right? Long term, a little harder to kind of call, right? Because things are evolving fast and quickly, and usually, within an organization, right, you have to really decipher and decide which tool is going to be the best tool for your company, right, long term. Because you can't just keep spending money every time something new comes up, and just like, oh, I like this one, let's try this. I like this one, let's try this. You're gonna go broke. Okay, you're gonna go broke. All right. The process, all right? So business process in general, okay? We talked about this last week also, right? It's the same thing as strategic management process, right? You gotta look internally, you gotta look externally. You gotta look at the resources you have, okay? Based on the resources that are available. You gotta figure out how much money you have, okay? What you can spend and what you can't spend, okay? You also, most importantly, have to figure out what is the problem, if there is a problem, okay? You don't need to create a problem. A lot of companies are doing that now, right? Because they see AI, they see all these companies jumping on technology, and they're like, okay, how can we jump on the technology bandwagon? You might not need to, right? Your business might not call for it, right? Maybe not right now, okay? So it's not for everybody at this point, okay? Big companies are using it, right, because they're going to automate more and then cut staff and, save a couple of dollars here and there. But, last time I checked, when I went to, a restaurant, there wasn't a robot as my waiter, all right? Although we have that in different countries, all right? And we have
Did that at a Thai restaurant in Mira Mesa. Has a
Yeah.
little cart that brings
that
the
drives
food
me, yeah,
out.
yeah, I knew what you were talking about.
So, no,
Yeah.
it's good food.
It's sushi, no,
Thai place.
Thai place, yeah. But those particular things are the things that companies think about, right? And then trying to figure out, okay, how does that relate to my HR objectives, right? Is that going to be something that I'm going to want to employ or implement within my organization? One, depending on, if I'm customer facing, right? Do I really want a robot 24/7 serving people food? There's no, people come for the ambiance, they come for the experience, and they don't want to talk to a robot, right? It might be efficient, maybe in the kitchen, maybe even at the hostess desk, right? You guys are familiar with the Moxie Hotel? The Moxie Hotel is downtown. It's one of those new kind of hotels where you check in on your own, there's nobody there. Okay, you just check in, boom, it spits out the key. You scan the key, when the lights are green, you scan the key, and then it barcodes it, and then you're on your way. Okay, nobody's there. What's the problem with that?
It's not a personalized service.
Not personalized, yeah, but some people don't really care about that. What else?
It's stressful.
Stressful, maybe.
What if you have a problem?
Well, you got a problem, right? Yeah. You said what, Hannah?
That's the stressful part,
Yeah,
because you don't know nobody.
nobody, they have one person there who's not familiar with the system, right? Who just, hey, I'm here, but I really don't know how to work this thing, okay? Or the power went down, okay? Guess what? You can't check in, nor can you get into your room. Okay, so you should probably sit at the bar. Oh, wait a minute, I can't really do anything because the POS system is also technology and electronic, and so, and I can't really do math in my head, so I can't use a regular cash register to give you change. Okay? So all these things play a role, but companies have to do an assessment on their company as to what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, right? What can I take advantage of in the marketplace that is going to help me grow, but at the same time, realizing or aligning that with our strategy, like what we want to do and what we have and how we're going to use it. Okay. All right. Different model strategy, right? So there's two basic models that companies kind of look at, right? This is industrial model, industrial organization model, right? And that basically says like, look, we're going to base our strategy on the external environment. We're worried about the government. We're worried about other competition. We're worried about the resources. We're worried about the things that we cannot control. As soon as we have an understanding of those things, then we'll plan our approach. Okay? We're going to say, this is the way we're going to do it, or this is what we're going to do. Okay? So, can anybody think of an example of a company or an industry that this would probably be an approach for them, or this is the way they're kind of attacking their strategy, right? They're looking at the resources externally to decide what they're going to do internally as a company. And think broad. Don't think small. Think big picture, general. Don't think very specific. Just think broad.
Maybe the gas and oil industry.
Yes. Oh, okay. Like how?
Well, because there's a lot of external pressure on them from
Okay.
a lot of different things.
Okay.
Those, like, the environment presents threats and opportunities. Well, one, a lot of them are moving towards what's considered a renewable,
Okay.
less efficient way.
Mm-hmm.
So those are potential opportunities.
Okay.
And then other opportunities are how do you utilize resources out of the ground that are not going to be as harmful as what people are saying.
Okay. All right.
So perhaps in that, and then in reality, out of the big gas and oil companies, they all basically have equal access to the same resources in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So
People wise, they.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
Telecom companies.
Telecom.
Do biddings,
Okay.
like in other countries,
Mm-hmm.
mostly the biddings are like government biddings.
Okay.
So I think they have to study the political environment, of the
Okay.
country, the economy,
Okay. That has
how
an
much
impact.
pressure they put.
Okay. All right. What else? What other industries do you think are really not relying, but have a focus more on an industrial organization strategy?
Maybe like car industry.
In what way?
That's the question. I think.
Hmm.
mm,
What else? Hmm. So think about,
All of
go
them.
ahead.
I think most companies are focused. I know what is the second model.
The second model, we haven't got to that yet.
Yeah, but the industrial, it seems to me like every company wanna compete with the lower, have the lower cost, and
Yeah, but
every company is kind of determined by,
the external resources?
yeah.
Yeah, but their strategy, like think about the company's strategy, like every company, you're right, relies on external resources, right? But what companies or industries specifically, they do business or they operate because of the external environment or the external resource that they have.
Maybe think about healthcare, like the COVID situation.
Okay,
Now, are you talking about external things like customers?
everything, any resource. Think about any resource.
I
Like
mean, the
your oil
food and
was
beverage.
good, right? Your oil was good. But what is it about oil that makes it more of a industrial organization strategy? That if I was standing in front of you and I was trying to have 5 or 6 different business ideas or things I can get into, and I had to decide which one to get into, how would I just like which one would I decide and why?
We also think about financial institutions, they depend on the economy, inflation.
Yeah. I mean, all this stuff is good. What I'm trying to get you to,
Environment like a nature,
okay, what about it?
like resources, like
Okay, yes,
how you call the things where
Natural resources.
they come the,
natural resources?
yeah,
Okay, yeah, okay,
yeah, it's
Alright.
not a cave, but how you call it, it's like,
Mining.
mining? Oh, the mine, okay, all right,
like that.
that's a good example, right?
The
Perfect,
gold or-
all right. Oil was a good example, right?
Utility.
Utilities, yes. So if you look at certain industries, there's a reason why they are where they are, okay? OPEC is headquartered in the Middle East because guess what? That's where the oil is, right? Majority of oil is in the Middle East, okay? When you think about sushi or seafood, do you think about Iowa? Do you know any fisheries or canneries or anybody that goes fishing for lobster or seafood? Do they live in Minnesota somewhere or do they live in Idaho? No, they live on the coast. Okay?
I mean, it's possible because Minnesota has a lot of lakes and ponds. right?
Yeah. No, yeah, you're Minnesota. It wasn't probably the best example, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Like
That
Kansas or something.
right. I'm basing my strategy based on the resources that I have, right? And this is a specific geographic resource, right? The water is here, all right? This is why for, Christopher and I got in the military, right? Understand that. Why is it that most military bases are by water?
Because of the amphibious.
Exactly, that's exactly what it
That's
is.
one, but it's also the ability to get resupply.
Yeah, resupply, but it's the transportation, right? The ability to get on the water. It's a mode of transportation, in and out,
In that case, I would think about another industry, the hotel industry.
mhm,
It depends a lot on the external environment.
Okay.
Even when you decide where to build a hotel,
yeah,
Tourism.
your business plan, your everything depends on those external
Right.
environments. It's like a resort hotel on the seaside.
Exactly.
People don't go to Blythe
Exactly.
for vacations, they go to San Diego.
They don't go to where?
Blythe, which is right on the.
I know where Blythe is.
Yeah, so they don't go to
I mean, I've
Blythe
heard
for-
of it, I don't know where it's at.
They don't go to Blythe for vacations, they go to San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, but it depends what you're looking for, right? But for the most part, when you start looking at certain industries, right?
Cement industry.
Cement?
Oh, yeah, Air Mesa is a big,
Yeah,
Air Mesa is a big, they're trying to get it moved.
Most of them, to where they can see, they use limestone.
right, yeah.
So
They're gonna be next to the quarries, right? They're going next to where they can get limestone, right? They're not- There's one down here in San Diego,
Mira
off, not Mira Mesa,
Oh,
yeah, that one
okay.
too, but, right down, the Mission Valley. If you go down Qualcomm Road and it deads end, there's a big quarry there. And all they're doing is digging for rocks and doing whatever they're doing over there, all right? There's a couple of them in San Diego. But when you talk about the industrialization models, that's what it's based on, right? Where are the resources? I'm gonna go there, okay? And we're gonna form our strategy around those resources about, hey, how accessible are those things? Okay? Is it easy to get? Is everyone doing it? Is it saturated? Right? Is it, low entry to barrier to entry, excuse me. Right? Those kind of things when you talk about industrialization model, right? The strategy is based on the resources that are available in the external environment. Right? Now you have the resource-based approach, okay? And we look at the resource-based approach, we're looking at what do we have internally, okay? What do we have inside our organization that we can use in order to create our strategies? Do we have a great workforce? Do we have like these amazing processes? Do we have, a lot of money, right? The strategy is based on what we have internally, not what's going on the outside. Not that we don't care, we do care, but the internal environment is always something that we can control, right? And so, for the most part, companies like to have some semblance of ultimate control, right? As much control they can keep, they can get, they want to get, right? And the way you do it is really based on here, right? It's resource based. Because now I can really do an assessment, see what I have, right? It's like cooking dinner. It's like you go home, right? You know what you're gonna cook for dinner. You check your fridge. What I got in the fridge? Oh, boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna make this. Vice going to the supermarket. What does the supermarket have?
Everything.
Everything. Okay? Based on what they have, I'm gonna decide what to make. Okay? That's an industrial approach. You looking in your pantry at home is a resource-based approach. Okay? I'm gonna use what I have to kind of put some stuff together, because I don't feel like going out, okay? And that means I gotta order takeout, I gotta order takeout, all right? But still, it's based on what you have internally. All right, so these are two different particular aspects, right? And again, you can kind of have a mix of both, right? But companies usually kind of focus on one or the other, but you can definitely have a mix of both. Especially now, as you start to go global or become more globalized, you definitely have more of a hybrid thing, going on, because the same resources that are here, right, are not necessarily in other countries, right? And the United States always kind of been that country where, we'll see something and be like, oh, we're gonna go set up shop over here, right? Based on that resource, because we don't have it here. Or we do have it, but we don't want to use it, right? We do too many rules, or, somebody doesn't like this, or somebody doesn't like that, right? Other countries are a little more lax on how to do business, right? The finance center, Wall Street, right? People come to Wall Street, to New York, because they want to do business, right? If you wanna be famous movie star, where do you go?
Hollywood.
Hollywood. Everybody knows that, right? You go to Hollywood. You make it in Hollywood, or you make it in Broadway, New York. That's it. But mostly Hollywood. Okay?
Although that's shifting.
Huh?
Although that is
That is
shifting.
shifting too, right? That's shifting also. Right? Hollywood is no longer not necessarily the mecca of superstars anymore, right?
Very few films are filmed in Hollywood.
Yeah, no, not at all, right? They're filmed on location elsewhere. It's cheaper, and we have global stars now. Not all the superstars are from the United States. We have great, great actors and singers that are from all over the place, right? And so you can't really just make it about here. But everybody knows you can make it in Hollywood, you probably get a good footing for everything else globally, right? You probably be an international star, right? So we got that, all right? The thing about one of the things that I noted down there was, when you look at the resource-based approach, when you decide to go that way, you have to understand and be true. You have to be realistic with yourself as a company, right? And look at the resources and say, are these resources unique in nature? Okay? If I have it, and some other company has it, and some other company has it, then it's probably not the best approach, right? Because then it's really not, we're gonna do well internally, but they're gonna be doing the same thing we're doing, okay?
You think about, they are not contributing to your competitive advantage.
Right, no, not at all, right? Whereas if you take an industrial organizational view, right? And kind of say, look, I'm gonna see what's out there, right? That opens you up to more resources. That opens you up to, a bevy of things that are out there that you may not even know about, right? That can help you with your company, right? And they won't be local. That's the other thing about using a resource-based view, that everything is very local. Because it's internal, right? And it's only gonna go as far as the knowledge base and the innovativeness of your company goes. So if you have a lot of smart people, but they're not too smart, that's as far as it's gonna go, right? When you step out and you kind of look abroad, you go, oh, you know what? We got smart people, but those people over there are smarter. We're gonna go talk to them, okay? Or that company over there is doing a lot of good things. We go talk to them, all right? Hence benchmarking. Everybody familiar with the benchmarking as a concept, all right? There's a lot of benchmarking that goes on, especially now, because resources are limited, right? And people want to be efficient, companies have to be efficient nowadays. Money, the cost of borrowing money, cost of capital is expensive. It's got skyrocketed. So companies are not in the business of wasting time and money, right? There's a lot of international and, global challenges that a lot of companies face trying to get entry into different countries, right? So instead of, me trying to go at it on my own, maybe I can reach out to my partners in Ireland who are part of the EU. And I may not be directly in the EU, but guess what? I'm doing business with the EU country who can get me into the EU with the other countries, right? The network aspect of it all, right? But having a unique, resource internally will make you more apt to use the resource-based approach because that is special, right? That's something only you can do, or you build that, right? There's a reason why people pay a lot of money for a Lamborghini or a Bugatti or whatever other fancy car that's out there, right? Because they kind of created this niche of luxury, of superiority, right? Of like, hey, you're not gonna get this anyplace else, and that you can't, right? All right, so kind of the basic steps here, right? And again, this is, in my opinion, across the board, generic. Okay, this applies to every discipline, everything you do in life. It's just basic stuff. Okay. You always gotta have. Well, I'm not gonna go through all of them right now, but the mission statement, environmental analysis, organizational self-assessment, establishing goals, setting strategy, and identify assumptions. Right. We do this on a regular basis, every day, right? Even as going to the bathroom or getting a cup of coffee, right? We do all this stuff here, right? We tell ourselves, okay, this is my mission. I'm gonna get a coffee, all right? I assess the situation. Oh, do I have time to get a coffee? Okay, how far away is it? I get there. There's no cups. Gotta figure out a solution. I got a cup. Okay, I put my coffee in it. I need sugar now. Oh, honey. Okay, no honey. Great. Gotta figure something else out, all right? I'm assuming there's a spoon so I can stir my coffee. Okay? So it's as simple as that. And this particular approach or this mindset process gets applied across the board, especially in the business setting, right? It's not any different in HR as it is in marketing, as it is in operations, or when it comes to the military, right? We all have the same thought process, the same problem solving approach, right? When it comes down to how do we manage, how do we come up with strategy, or we have OPT and stuff like that, right? Yes, everybody has these things that they use to help them do this, okay? All right, so mission statement, of course, explains purpose and reason for existence, okay? Mission statement, you could probably ask 1,000 people in an organization of 1,000 people, and 995 of them won't know what the mission statement is, okay? It's just not something that the average employee concerns themselves with, all right? They know their mission, right? They know what they have to do in their little bubble, but they don't understand the grander, bigger picture of the company. What does the company do? A lot of people don't know. A lot of people sometimes get caught blindsided because they didn't realize that the company did these things, right? People that work for like companies like BP or, even, I don't know, I don't know, maybe Blackwater, I know you are, but not everybody is. Blackwater or some other companies, right, about what it is, or for example, my last duty station, I was working with special forces with the SEALs. And I learned a whole lot, I had been in 20 some odd years at that point, whatever the case may be. I think I knew everything about the military, special forces, yada, yada, all this great stuff. And then I got there and I was like, they showed me things like, oh, we did that? I didn't know we do that too. Oh, we did that also, huh? Wow. And so there's a lot of things that their day-to-day employee is not familiar with, right? And mission statement is one of them. Okay, they just don't know, right? So you want to make sure that the mission statement is clear, it's visible somewhere, okay? And that people understand what it is, because that really is the guiding light. That really is what you come back to when you get lost as a company, right? When people don't really understand, like, why am I doing this? Okay, go back to the mission statement. How does my role contribute to the mission statement? Okay, that will give the person purpose and like, oh, okay, I kind of get it now. That's not gonna fix everything, but it gives them an idea. It's like, okay, it's just not about this little corner of this little corner. Okay,
Yeah, like, there are different levels, so at operational level, they might not know what the mission statement is, because the strategic level manager,
yeah,
they're the ones who lead with it,
yep,
the board of directors and whoever. And they might not know what's going on at the operational level,
right.
they have to go through the middle man,
The
whatever,
middleman, right.
the general manager or whoever.
To understand, right? And so everyone needs to know what the mission statement is, right? And there's even people at the operational level, not the operation, at the executive level, the senior level, that don't know what the mission statement is. Okay? They know what the company does, but they're not really familiar with the mission statement because they didn't write it. Okay? And they most likely they don't care. Okay? So mission statement is important. Usually very broad, right? Usually not very long. A few lines. Some of them are a little longer, but it all depends. And everybody's mission statement is different. Okay, it's depending on your industry, depending on who's writing it, depending on a lot of things, right? You'll never find two mission statements that are really the same, right? And they should be unique in nature because they should be relevant to your organization and not to any place else, right? And I know, hey, you could have different, technology companies that do the same thing, but their mission statements are definitely going to be different. Okay. Serves our foundation for everything organization does. Yeah, yes, we know that, right? Okay, here's an example of a mission statement. One word, okay? And this is what is commonly found, right? You'll find, everybody from, here in San Diego, there's a car dealership, DCH. Does anybody know what DCH means? It's DCH, car dealership. I think they have it. They own a Chevy, they own
The Heinz Corporation.
yeah,
HINZ.
something like that.
Yeah.
All right. What, did anybody know what DCH stands for? Because it's their mission statement.
Deliver
Yeah.
cars.
Probably deliver
Direct customer
customer,
hospitality.
it's deliver customer something.
Deliver customer happiness.
Happy.
DCH.
DCH, deliver customer happiness. All right. Deliver cars. That was a good one, though. All right. Deliver customer happiness. That's their mission statement. All right. It's in their name, DCH. All right. They named it DCH, Auto or whatever, Auto Group or whatever. Well, they're part of Heinz, right?
Well, I think the DCH actually is initials of a person on
Mm,
research, and then they probably pull the mission, so I'll look that.
yeah, I think it's DC. I think it's DCH. It might maybe they did that, but that's what it stands for. Delivering customer happiness. Okay. Then you have Microsoft mission statement. A little more elaborate. Okay, a little more detail, a little more stuff. But again, it doesn't go too crazy with it, right? But why do you think this mission statement is so short and Microsoft is a little bit longer?
The business is more complex.
It is more complex. That's all, right? There's more things that Microsoft does. Microsoft has a bigger presence in our global and day-to-day activities, right? We all use Microsoft probably on a daily basis, right? Microsoft is all over the place in just, phones, computers, TV, laptop, and like whatever, you name it, Microsoft's in it, right? They also have philanthropic and benevolent organizations that they get involved with, right? Bill Gates is a big guy, him and his wife or ex-wife, they like to give away a lot of money and do a lot of different things, all right? And so their mission statements gonna cover a little bit more than the average mission statement, right? And nothing wrong with that. That's okay.
It is delivering customer happiness, they trademark that.
Yeah.
They register.
Yeah, you're good. Good to go, good to go. Okay. All right. So now it's an environment, all right?
It's 6:40, just so you.
Okay, appreciate that. Analysis of the environment, okay? So competition, industry structure, government, technology, market trends, and economic trends, right?
That's where they put the SWOT in.
This is where we put the SWOT in. Perfect. I was just getting into that, right? I was gonna say, what does this look like? A SWOT. All right? All right. And then if you really want to get fancy with it, okay, is a SWOT. What is it? SWOT is another SWOT. SWOT what? Anybody know that what there's another letter that comes after SWOT? It's up there.
Technology?
No. No, the letter, the one more. No.
SWOT analysis.
No.
Okay.
Go SWOT E.
Environment.
External. Okay. So most times companies do SWOTs, they do an internal SWOT. They don't always do an external SWOT. Okay. And within the internal SWOT, part of it is assessing the external, what's going on outside, right? But when you do a SWOT E, you're focusing strictly externally, right? Everything is about the strength of the external components, the weaknesses of the external components, right? The opportunities, the threats of the external components, right? So there's a SWOT and there's a SWOT E. Internally focused, and then externally focused is the SWOT E. All right. So they start to really look at these areas in a very deep way, right? And this becomes more of the emphasis for them as far as like what action or decision making action items that we're going to take. Okay. It lends itself more to the industrialization perspective approach when you do a SWOT E, right? Because I'm really focused on knowing like what's out there. Okay. And it gives me an idea of, okay, this is a strength in our society or an external environment, but is it a strength for me? Is it a strength for our organization, right? It's an opportunity in the external environment, right? But is that an opportunity for me? And so you can kind of compare and contrast and say, okay, well, yes, that's a great look, right? I would equate it to fashion, right? That's a great look, but not on me, right? Not everything that's out there is made for everybody, right? Some people can pull off certain things, other people can't. Okay, and so when you do the SWOT and SWOT E, you kind of get a comparison about the things that will work for your company and those things that will not work for your company, but are great for other people or for other organizations. All right. So competition, of course, always going to be there. No skipping that. All right. Industry structure, that's always changing. Okay. Depending on what's going on, what regulations, finances, technology, they all have an impact on each other, which is the funny thing, right? They all kind of have some bearing on each other, and the individual, they have their own stand. Okay. Technology, of course, we can beat to death, all right? Government regulations, all right, and economic trends, right? Those are kind of tied together to me, right? Because the government, of course, has a huge impact on, especially the United States, on how we do business, all right? How money flows, what our economy looks like, fiscal policies that are put in place. What is the strategy, as compared to Donald Trump, as compared to Biden, Republican Party, Democrats, or Independents, all right? How do they approach budgeting, okay? So right now, you've seen the whole contrast between different ideas, right? Because they haven't really formalized the budget yet, right? They got, the initial, like, yeah, we got, the initial numbers, but they haven't got down to the nitty gritty. They just put in a, move, an initiative or amendment, whatever. I don't want to call it CR, a continuing resolution, because it's not that, but they extended the deadline for the budget till March, I think, so they can kind of figure out, okay, where specifically are we going to use this money? How are we going to do it? What are some of the things that we're looking at, right? So all these things play into, a organization's strategic plan, right? Because they may want to do something, but they can't because the government won't let them. Okay, this is the case where cryptocurrency is a big thing right now, right? And everybody's like, oh, crypto's gonna be coming in and, kind of taking over as we start to get more digital, right? The digital dollar, we have a digital dollar for those that aren't aware, okay?
They're trying to incorporate that.
Yeah, they have already. It's in the system already. We just got,
Like the government is gonna have its own money.
The central bank digital currency. is what
yeah,
it's called,
CBDC, yeah.
which is
They have it already.
terrifying.
They have it already.
The dollar you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a digital dollar, that's all. And so, but a lot of the leaders are not very open to digital currency, they're not open to crypto, right? And really just because of one thing,
Control.
control is part of
The
it.
crypto is a control.
It is a control thing, but at the heart of it, what do you think?
Corruption.
Corruption for sure, yeah, absolutely.
I just got a text from a buddy who I hadn't talked to for a while, and he said he just got totally scammed in crypto, saying lost
Yeah.
a whole lot of money.
Yeah, it happens. You gotta be careful
Scammed
with that
and
stuff.
freed and.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that. But what is it about crypto and technology sometimes, and just something new that
They don't understand
they
it.
don't understand it, right? It's the lack of understanding, right? That's what it is. I don't understand it. So because I don't understand it, I'm not gonna, huh?
I cannot use it in a bad way.
Yeah, I'm not gonna use it in a way because I don't know. I don't know what it can and can't do. So guess what? We're just not gonna do it, right? Which is not what you wanna really do, right? You don't wanna approach it that way. That's not gonna get you anywhere. Because you're scared of something, you don't do it, right? There's a lot of things that I'm sure we've all done in our life that we're scared of, but we do them anyway, right? And then we master them. And that's the thing with a lot of the technology in the government, is that the government is very, very slow to adopt new things, especially when it's a threat to the existing infrastructure. Okay, cryptocurrency, digital dollar, it's all a threat to the dollar as a reserve currency. Because now you can take the dollar, you can pretty much go anywhere and spend a dollar for the most part, right? Especially back in the day, anywhere. Now it's becoming less and less, right? A lot of countries, they were like, yeah, if you have something else, we'll take it, right? The dollar is not as super duper, but it's still pretty strong, right? You can still take it anywhere, okay? But as we start to get more digital, right, and we start to delve into cryptocurrency and people are carrying less cash, right? We do everything on our phones. We do everything digitally, right? Everything's on the computer, everything's through an app, right? Why not do our banking? Why not do all the money transfers and stuff through a digital means, right? And so this is where, we're coming into. But it's all through an analysis of the environment, trying to figure out which of these resources or which one of these areas, right, as we do our assessment, are we really going to kind of, look at and say, all right, this could be beneficial to us as an organization from a strategic standpoint, right? Or we need to be careful about this, or we need to start thinking about ways in which we're going to mitigate this particular regulation that's coming down the road in the next couple of years, right? Like even here in California, right, or nationwide, real ID. Does anybody here have a real ID? I think you have one probably.
No, because my passport, my military ID.
Yeah, well,
Terrible.
the military IDs are real IDs. The new ones.
Yeah, but I don't have to get the California.
No,
Yeah,
you're good, yeah. But for those, because real ID is a national thing, it's not a California thing. Yeah, it's a national thing. California just very much do
They
it.
keep pushing it.
Yeah.
They keep pushing the date.
Yes, yeah, they keep pushing the date.
Yeah, right, I can use it in the plane, that's it, what I know.
The real ID?
Yeah.
That's basically what it's, to track you. Yeah, that's all it is. We're keeping an eye on you.
Yeah.
Okay?
And you,
Yeah,
and you.
keep an eye on you, right? But that's a example of something that's out there that, is in the external environment that we're trying to incorporate, right? Not every state is fully on board, but we have to think about it for long term. Because by 2026 or 2027, everyone has to have it, a real ID.
Like a real ID driver license, I can use it in Colorado.
Yeah.
And it's gonna work, the driver license?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole point, is for it to be able to, you can go to any state and it has the information and they can pull up your record and all
They
this
can
other
do that
stuff.
already.
Yeah.
But no,
That's
it's for,
what it's-
it's for allowing you, basically, it's for allowing travel on aircraft is the primary reason behind it, so that you can, so that you're part of a federal database.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what, yeah, it's a federal database, so they can track, so they can access you, because sometimes you go to a state and you're driving through that state and you get a ticket. Just because you get a ticket in North Carolina doesn't mean that they're gonna pick it up in California. Right? Because the two things don't talk. Right? I have a California driver's license, you have, and I go to North Carolina, I get a ticket, they'll write it up, right? But it's for North Carolina court, not for California court, all right? But with the real ID, because it's a federal database, and yet everyone has this new real ID thing, now we're going to tap into a federal database that says, oh, you live in California, guess what? We're gonna assign you to the court here, although, you got this in North Carolina, we'll figure out how to do whatever. At the end of the day, we're gonna get the money. That's what they're really looking at, all right? But it is a federal database that they use, especially for aviation.
Travel.
Yeah, keep track of folks, all right? Okay, let's take a quick 10 and then come back. Good? All right. We're gonna take a quick 10-minute break and come back, okay?
Okay, doctor.
Otherwise they'll yell at you.
Yeah, yell at me. Okay, so getting back to, the steps and as far as the, approach to how businesses look at, their process and strategy, right? Self-assessment is probably one of the critical ones, all right? And having I want to say a honest and candid self-assessment is essential to really pinpoint the problems and some of the areas that companies really want to strategize about, okay, where do I put our resources and how do we do our training? Especially when it comes to HR, because HR is going to rely a lot on, okay, what are the things that we want to do in the near and long term, okay? But that's going to be based on the assets and the things that we identify as being our strong points, our weak points, areas where, we can leverage as far as strength, either externally or internally, okay? Other areas where, people might find us weak and try to, exploit that, okay? So having the self-assessment and that being part of the whole process is an important aspect of just being sure that the strategy that you come up with makes sense. That the strategy you come up with addresses all these things that you've identified within the self-assessment, right? If you do a self-assessment on yourself, right, you're trying to figure out what areas can I improve in, right? Self-development, professional self-development, or career development, or just personal growth, right? Companies are always trying to figure out, okay, how can we grow as an entity? But then when we dig down deeper, how can we help individuals grow? Because if we help individuals grow, that will in turn help us grow as a company, right? And so the strategy or the strategic objective is always, okay, what policies and things can we put in place that will allow the employees or the workforce to, benefit from some of the things that we have access to, right? Do we have a partnership with Ford? Like when I worked at Toyota, we did a lot of benchmarking with Ford. Ford would come over, they come and look at they go over to the manufacturing plant, they come to the office, and just sit down with us and kind of look at some of the systems and that kind of thing. And we would go to Ford and look at some of the things that they did well, and try to kind of nitpick. But, even as great as the organization Toyota was, there were some areas that needed some serious improvement, right? Some areas that needed work, but they were very self-aware. They were very candid about, okay, we need to fix these things, right? We're weak here, we're weak there, we're weak there. As compared to some other organizations that will try to brush it, to the side and say, you know what? Yeah, we're weak here, but, we can compensate for that with some new technology. We can compensate for that with money, but we can compensate for that by, being stronger here and not there, okay? And just ignoring the real issue at hand, because most issues they don't get better with time. There's a problem, it's probably going to get worse as time goes on, right? And if it's a people problem, it's definitely going to get worse, right? Because that is infectious, right? If I let you do it, or if I know that the CEO or the COO or one of the VPs is behaving in a manner in which that doesn't align with the company morals, the values, or the culture of the company, people are going to see that and they're going to start to behave that way, right? The CEO went out. Oh, for instance, let's just take this example, right? Everybody familiar with the NRA, right? The National Rifle Association. If you're not, the NRA is one of the biggest, organizations. They all about Second Amendment rights and everybody, having access and being able to acquire or maintain firearms, guns, stuff like that, right? And just having the right to have them, okay? But they're also one of the big lobbyists, one of the biggest organizations that lobby in Congress for gun rights, for gun legislation. So we have a lot of mass shootings here in the United States, right? As you can tell, right? Every other week, somebody's going somewhere shooting a lot of people, right? How do they get access to the guns? Why is there no mental evaluation done is to see whether or not you should have guns or not? right? But the CEO or the president, not CDP, the president of the NRA, man by his name was
Wayne LaPierre.
yeah, Wayne LaPierre, right? He resigned last week. Okay? And as he's resigning, they have another article that says, oh, they caught his CFO trying to cover his tracks because he spent so much money on himself. Fancy dinners, boats, vacations, and charged it all to the company. Okay? And so the other executives, of course, they saw that and thought, hey, if he's doing it, it must be okay. We're doing it too. Okay? And so you get this attitude, you get this culture, this perspective that we can go ahead and do what we want and spend the money because the boss is doing it, so I can do it too. Okay? And we don't want that. All right? That's not the aim of an executive, a senior leader, right? We should be really looking at ways into which we can maximize the benefits for our employees, all right? But the leadership and the way they behave has a huge impact on the organizational culture. Okay, has a profound influence on how the rest of the leaders behave, which again trickles down to the mid managers, the lower level managers, the employees, those kind of people. It affects them, it impacts them because they can see, all right, there is a certain attitude, a certain approach to things that may not be in line with the best interest of the company. Right? It's more of, hey, it's good for me, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. Okay. All right. So looking at the organization and just making sure that we assess each of these categories, right? And then capital, yeah, we probably not gonna touch that too much unless you get into the high echelon of folk, here where you're actually dealing with, yeah, you get into the C-suite, kind of looking at the capital investments and, how we're gonna allocate large sums of money towards projects, and that's usually long-term, not normally, 3 to 5 years, only like 10 years down the road. We're looking at, okay, are we going to have to upgrade our facility, right? Are we going to have to upgrade a new system, that kind of thing. So capital expenditures and so forth and so on. But again, having a good idea on the human capital is really, what they you should be focused on. Because the human capital, without that, you really have no business. You really have no company, right? And so that, in spite of what we see as far as, people being taken care of and, there's a concern for the workforce, the human capital is the most important thing. And it's the most expensive, okay? The most expensive, 70 to 80% of companies' revenues go to paying payroll, right? Paying, doling out that salary, okay, or benefits, incentives, whatever it is the case may be, right? So they're very hesitant a lot of times to, increase that, but it's important because if the workforce walks out on you, you're pretty much out of luck, right? You could get some people to come in, but depending on what kind of company you have, probably very difficult. Okay, probably very difficult. All right. Looking at the culture, organizational structure, decision-making process, past strategy and performance. Now, out of all these, I think the decision-making process and how that goes in organizational structure are really stand out to me because depending on what kind of leader you are, depending on the tone that is set, you can have a very micromanaged, very bureaucratic type organization, right? Where where you have a very I'm losing my words here. Where you have a lot of people that need to approve things and for things to happen, it takes a lot of, it's not decentralized. Okay, it's very centralized, all right? I can't buy anything without me going to my boss, and my boss has to go to his boss or her boss, and they got to go to their boss, right? to buy or to spend $400-500, okay? Whenever you stifle decision-making, right, you stifle ideas, you stifle innovativeness, you stifle, out-of-the-box thinking, right? Because people get nervous about making decisions that could possibly get them fired, right? They don't want to make choices in which, or take a chance, and then that's gonna lead them to them losing their job, right? And so it's important that when you look at it, you ask it, what is our mechanism for decision making? What is our process, right? How does that tie into our structure, right? Do we have a lot of red tape for simple things, right? Or are we more decentralized where we're rather flat, and people can make decisions on a whim, right? Based on the circumstances in front of them, okay? Because the longer it takes to make a decision, the more likely the decision is not gonna be the right one, okay? So as the decision starts at the bottom, right? You're in a situation, you see something happening, you wanna make a call, right? But you gotta go to your boss, right? And then they gotta go to their boss. As it's climbing up this ladder, right? The situation you're in is deteriorating, right? Oh, there were 5 different cars here that we could have picked from. Well, now there's only 4. Okay, now there's only 3. Now there's only 2. Now there's only 1. Well, go ahead and pull the trigger. Well, I can't anymore. The opportunity's gone. All right. And so the structure and the decision-making process go hand in hand in a lot of situations because it's really a function of time, right? Do I have the ability to make the decision in a timely manner without all the red tape? Okay, without all the nonsense, right? If I have to go all the way to the top, to the boss because I want to buy a $500,000 thing, right? It's probably going to be gone. The opportunity is probably going to disappear. Okay. Anybody comments? No. Okay.
Or just on decision making, is your system set up or is your organization set up where decisions are made based on the vision of the organization and where it wants to go? Like, is that ingrained in the culture? Because I think when that happens, decisions are better made. Like, it's better to have that process in place
I think
to
at the,
make decisions.
yeah, that's a good question. I think at the higher levels, yes. At the C-suite, maybe at the corporate manager level, the VPs, presidents, that kind of thing, they definitely make decisions based on the vision and the mission, right? But as you get lower and you have less knowledge about the mission or the vision, you probably are not taking that into consideration.
But what if having the knowledge of the vision and the mission was incorporated down at the lower levels where you were making decisions with those things in mind?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that would be better. That would be better. The thing is that, at the lower level, if you know what the vision and mission is, that's great, but you probably don't have enough information for all the other ancillary stuff that is going, like, it's just not gonna be enough, I think, to make some decisions. I think some decisions definitely for sure you can make based on the vision and mission. But then I think most major decisions, they probably need to be pushed up and kind of like, okay, well, I didn't know that. I know the vision and the mission, but I didn't know that's other part, right? I didn't know we were gonna go, I don't know, gonna go to China or something, or not do this, or I didn't know Taiwan was gonna like have a new president. Now we got some problem with China, and that is affecting our microchip distribution, right? Because Taiwan, that's where most microchips come from, right?
But they elected the anti-China president.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Taiwan wants to be on their own, right? So we'll see what happens. China's not gonna do anything. So they know the United States will jump in there, right? Because we don't want, all this stuff is strategic. We don't want China to have control of Taiwan because then they'll have control of the microchips, and that is the bread and butter of technology, and it's just all strategy. That's it, strategic decisions, and that leads into politics.
And China, they will never start to work in their, backyard.
No, they will never start one in their backyard,
Yeah,
no,
it's impossible.
they won't. They will never do that, right? And they
They
wouldn't
will
make
not
it
fall
anyway.
into the trap.
Yeah, they wouldn't make it anyway, right? So, culture is another important aspect, right, of the self-assessment and just assessing, as we talked about last week, doing climate surveys, trying to figure out, okay, what do you think about the organization? What do you think about your leaders? What do you think about even the facilities? What do you think about your work, right? Do you think you're doing meaningful work? Do you think your work is contributing to the overall mission and the vision of the state of the company, right? Do you plan on staying with the company, right? What are your long-term goals, right? Do you plan on, or would you like to get more education or more knowledge about a certain thing that you do in your day-to-day basis, day-to-day job? This survey includes all those things, right? And then they kind of take all those things and put them together and then get a general picture about how people feel about training, how people feel about leadership, how people feel about the company as a whole. And then from there, we start making some decisions about where we're gonna put the money, right? Because this is what it all relates to, right? Where are we gonna put the money? Right? Strategy, the objectives, they're tied to a dollar amount. Always, right? This is our strategy, this is our objective for this strategy. How much is it gonna cost us? And what's the return on investment, right? If those things weigh out and it's a positive, let's go. If it's a negative, put it on the back burner for right now, okay? We're gonna rack and stack them, and this one's not really panning out too much. It's not panning out too great, right? As you can tell in the commercial retail space, a lot of stores closing up, a lot of commercial buildings just vacant, right? There's one here in San Diego, that's downtown, that's vacant, and a lot of companies, what they're starting to do is, well, does anybody know what they're starting to do with the buildings? Commercial buildings, empty commercial buildings,
They converting them into housing?
convert them into housing.
Yeah.
There's one in downtown they're about to start here, probably next year. They're gonna convert it to housing, it's empty.
Homes like Northern Plaza or some of them?
Yeah, it's the one, that one right there, in Horton Plaza. Not, cause I know they're doing the sound center, but there's a building right there in Horton Plaza. They're converting those to housing. There's another building on Broadway and 8th, it's the Chase Building. They're gonna take part of that, and convert that to housing also. Right? And so when you start to look at, from a strategic standpoint, okay, I own this building, all right? Building's probably like $40–50 million, and it's empty, right? Because COVID kind of, catalyzed the whole remote work, telework type thing, right? The strategy has to change. I can't just not expect people to come to work, all right? People want to not stay at home and work, all right? And so that's a strategic change that a lot of companies have had to get used to. And it's not easy, right? Because our mentality is that, hey, if you're gonna work, I need to see you. You need to be in the office, right? Right, you need to see your face.
They just did that on my wife's company,
Really.
and they were twice a week
Mhm.
coming to the office, and now they're 5 days a week.
They're back in 5 days a week, yeah.
Because the CEO walked around on a day when no one was there.
Yeah.
And didn't like seeing empty cubicles.
Yeah. I mean- Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like nothing's happening, but things are happening, because they've shown that it's, in some aspects, people are more productive, but in other aspects, they're not. Right, so it's kind of a wash, sort of. The area where they've got the most benefit is that people's work-life balance has gotten better. Right, because now I can kind of manage my own schedule. If my kid has a game at 2 o'clock, I can make that, I can pick my kid up, I get more quality time with my kid, and at the same time still do my job. The problem is that as a CEO, I'm walking around, right? And I'm seeing a bunch of empty cubicles, lights on, computers on, I'm like, how much is this costing me? Right? Can I get rid of this stuff now? Can I shut this building down? Is there a way for me to, save money, by selling this building or maybe leasing out to someplace else. But the problem is that that cost, that benefits are offset by the cost of other things, right? Now, if you work from home, right, by law, I pay for my electricity, right? Gotta pay for my phone, probably. Gotta pay for my mileage. Now my home is my office. Guess what? That's a tax write-off for me, right? Yeah.
There's implications with that.
Yes, I mean, yeah, you gotta be careful with that, right? Judicious with it, but at the same time, it's a wash again for the companies, right? So I'd rather have you in the office if I gotta pay all this stuff anyway, right? I'd rather have you in the office and I can control the lights. I can control the water. I can control a lot of things, right? One of the most fascinating things I learned in Toyota was the way they control the toilet paper. Okay? And I'm like, why would you want to control toilet paper? Till I found out how much they spend on toilet paper. And I was, oh my goodness, it's a small fortune.
Actually, toilet paper is expensive.
It's expensive.
I mean,
Yeah.
I got this, it's like $20.
It's crazy, right? Part of my friends, expensive as shit. Right? It's expensive. And for a company, when you have 5, 6, 7, 10,000 people using the bathrooms, right? There's 2, 3 bathrooms on every floor. It's always occupied. 5, 6, 7, 8 stalls, right? And an 8-hour shift. God forbid you work 24 hours or you open 24 hours, which a lot, companies, I go in at 1 or 2 in the morning, depending on what's going on, right? If we had the cars coming in, right? It's a lot of money, okay? And so companies are like, you know what? Bring them back, okay? We're gonna make a strategic decision to bring people back. Although people are not happy about it, all right? At the end of the day, it's the best thing for the company, probably, right? Based on that company. Other companies, great for them. Google, Adobe, Apple, a lot of them. If you're not actually working with your hands or on the floor, the manufacturing plant, yeah, you don't need you, right? I don't need a coder to be there on site. I can code from anywhere. Doesn't matter. Code it, send it. Okay, cool. Goes into the pipeline, and I did my part.
Sometimes we don't think that the coworker is working,
Yeah.
And better to stay home.
To stay home, yeah, that's true too, right? But that goes back to
You're your own company, you pick the people, you know what to.
yeah.
Sometimes when you're an employee, you don't know what you do.
You don't know what you're getting, yeah. And I mean, and you're gonna see if you ever, depending on how your job is, right? If you've ever been in charge of people, you see how hard it is to really manage folks, right? And it really is an art of managing people, managing conflict. It's just difficult, right? And so anytime people in the equation, I don't care how good your plan is, something's gonna go wrong. Okay, something's gonna go to crap. It doesn't matter. Because we're human, that's just the way things go, right? All right, goals and objectives, we kind of looked at that too already, okay? So the thing about goals is that, depending on what area you're in, they really need to be very specific. Again, depending on what you're doing, right? They need to be realistic, which is normally one of the problems, but more of the specific, right? When you give vague instructions or vague direction, you're gonna get a vague response. Because I'm not really sure what you want, right? Unless you specifically tell me I wanted X, Y, Z. If you don't tell me X, Y, Z, I'm gonna do it the way I wanna do it. Right? As long as the outcome is what you want, right? And so I know personally that's how I dealt with most of my bosses, right? I would ask my boss, how do you want this, right? It's the same report I gave my other boss, but my other boss wants it this way. How do you want it? Okay, and then, okay, that's how you want it, cool. But if you don't tell me, I'm gonna do it the way I wanna do it, all right? I'm gonna give you the outcome you want, but it's not gonna be the way, you're not gonna dictate to me how to do it unless you want to, right? And so it's important that when you set your goals up, that they be, specific, okay? Because you're not gonna, I wish I had that cartoon, there's a particular cartoon, strip, and it talks about an engineer. Now, you guys might have seen it, right? The engineer, he gets the plan, and it looks like this way. And then they give it to the person that's actually building it. And then it's a swing. It's supposed to be a swing, a tire.
Not the other.
Yeah, tire on a tree, like a swing, right? The engineer draws it up. It's fantastic. Gives it to the designer or whoever, and it looks like something else. They give it to the person actually building it, and then it's a rope with a rubber tire tied to a tree. Okay? You know why? Because you weren't specific. You just kind of gave me, hey, I need you to build a swing. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do it based on the talent I have or the skill set I have. And unless you tell me otherwise, this is what you're gonna get. Right? And you can't be mad at that. All right? So you have to be, specific and realistic and measurable, of course, right? But then it goes without saying that most things in the corporate world are measurable because they're, again, tied to money. Right? I need to know X, Y, Z. All right. Our goal is 100. And did we make 100? No. Okay, why didn't we make 100? Because of reason ABC. Okay, cool. Fix ABC. 100 is our goal. Did we make 100? Yes. Okay, good. Above 100? Yes. Why? Okay. How did we get above 100? Because now that's something that I want to reproduce. Right? If we above and beyond, how'd you do it? And can you be consistent?
Almost like they started down the road of SMART goals and stopped.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly.
They're like, we'll do these two and then we'll throw in flexible.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'll leave that alone. All right. So stages of planning, strategic planning, all right, and then take a look at this, but at the bottom, he kind of talks about what each role HR facilitates in all these different steps, all right? HR can be, HR is, I don't think it can be, is the communication piece for the company, right? It's the median, it's where, kind of the buffer between the workforce and management and the leadership. HR is also where people, look to for getting taken care of, right? Personal management, or personnel management, I should say, right? HR also is a driver of change, right? Change management comes from HR. A little bit of operations, but mostly HR. HR basically does everything, okay? Knowledge management, okay? HR does that. Training, HR does that. Manpower, workforce planning, all right? Succession planning, all those things go into, HR, right? And so HR has a pivotal role in the strategic aspect, when it comes down to really, how are we gonna look at the company down the road, right? The objective in 5 to 10 years is for us to have 200 electrical engineers or to have this skill set, right? We're looking for this skill set. How many people is that gonna take? What type of people is that gonna take? HR. We need to hire 10 engineers. We need to hire 3 mechanical, 4 electric, 2 civil, whatever, right? That's how those things are connected. Without that directive, without those strategic objectives, HR won't really know what to do. Because HR really has no authority about anything. HR has no power. HR is a manager of things, right? HR, strategic HR at the highest level, we're managing resources. That's all we're doing. We don't make any decisions. Any decisions that are made by HR is because somebody else told HR to do it. Okay? You're never gonna see the VP of HR, yeah, we're gonna do this. Like, no, not gonna happen. All right. Operations would be like, hey, no, I need people here and I need people here. So I need you to hire here and here. Okay. I don't know about everybody else, right? We're gonna rack and stack them, but operations typically take the lead when it really boils down to things, right? And HR is really just about managing different pieces. That's it. All right, so different corporate strategy. What time is it?
Oh, now it's, 7:36.
Okay. We're done soon. All right, so corporate strategy, right? So there's a couple different ways you can go with this, right? You can go a growth strategy, you can go sustainment strategy, you can go retracement or a trend strategy, okay? Real quick, right? When we talk about growth strategy, we're really talking about companies that are somewhat in their infancy, and are looking to really like get more market share. Okay? How do we go about, expanding our brand? How do we get into different markets? How do we increase our customer base, right? When you're looking at growth, right? And HR is involved in the sense that more than likely as we're in a growth phase, we're growing internally too. Okay? And so again, going back, what is our strategic objective, right? We need skill set A, B, C, D, and E. HR or vice president of human resource, right? Or manpower. How much money is it going to take to get these people on board? What is the market value of this particular skill set, right? Can we find a neuro-ophthalmologist? And how much is that going to cost us? How many do we need? Well, based on operations that we do, we do, 4 surgeries a month or something like that. And so maybe we need 2. Okay. How much is that going to cost? Probably like $500,000 each, right? Easy for a neuro-ophthalmologist. Okay. And so these are the things that they look at. So HR has definitely a role when it comes down to growth and understanding like, hey, what's my role, right? And then growth in the sense of even if we do as it says, a merger and acquisition, right? That's growing, right? We're acquiring a new company, right? So now I gotta take this company and have to integrate them into our existing structure, right? And that's not always easy thing to do, depending especially if the company is domestic or if it's international, right? So it becomes a difficult thing, not only to integrate the operations, but more importantly, integrating the culture, right? So when I work for Care Fusion, so Care Fusion, they're in Torrey Pines, and they do, you see when you go to the hospital, you see the modular machines, all the vitals and all that stuff, they make those machines. And I was a business analyst over there, and we acquired a company in Italy that does the same thing, but in Italy. And I was like, oh, that's great. And then I realized that it was such a big fucking thing. Okay? So as an analyst, one of my jobs was try to integrate, their systems with our systems, right? Not necessarily technical systems, more of the administrative personnel systems, right? Oh, guess what? They get paid in liras, right? They don't get paid in dollars. Oh, so now we have to convert the money? How much is that gonna cost us? All right? Wait a minute. They really do take siestas in the afternoon, huh? Holy crap. Wait a minute. We don't take siestas here. If it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I need you, you better be on the phone. Nope. Okay? You have to integrate the culture, right? The holidays, right?
Italians smoke a lot.
Smoke a lot, right? There's a substantial amount of smoke breaks,
Smoke break.
right? But also an increase in health issues, right? How do I deal with all those things? How do I integrate those things? That's an HR problem. That's a strategic HR problem that you deal with on a regular basis, okay? So that's the growth. Then we got our sustainment, right? Our stability, right? And stability is just, hey, I've been around for a little bit. I'm a player in the environment, I'm playing the industry or the market, and I'm just trying to maintain status quo. I'm just trying to enjoy where we're at and make sure that we stay here. Okay? Because everybody understands the cycle, right? Of kind of products and services and that kind of thing, right? There's a new thing on the market. Guys, we're selling like hotcakes. Can't keep them off the shelf, keep them on the shelf. And then it peaks, and then what happens? Kind of comes down, but then we stay steady, right? But now we caught up in our manufacturing, and we're pushing them out, we got a very good rhythm, and then guess what? Oh, the newest thing just came out. Nobody cares about what we got anymore. Starts to go down. Okay? Starts to go down. We don't want that, right? We want to sustain, we want to stay on the same level, right? We want to grow, but sustainment is probably a lot better for long term, right? This is more of something that a company like Apple worries about, okay? Why do you think Apple comes out with something every year? October, whatever, I said August or September? September, right? Every September, right? There's a hype. September 15th, something like that. There's a hype, right? Because Apple's gonna come out with something new, right? I seen lines wrapped around the corner. Wait for the new iPhone 25, whatever it is, right? Okay? Apple is sustaining their dominance. What did they do to the phone? Okay, we took away the headphones. We changed the screen, we made better cameras, right?
Well, they took the cameras that have been Samsung.
Right, exactly. Samsung camera is far superior than Apple camera by a long shot, right? But what does that scream to you?
Stability, sustainable.
Sustainability, but how? How are they doing it?
Well, because they pull people into their Apple environment, the Apple sphere. And they keep the new products coming out to keep people in, because they add just this little other thing that makes them want it.
Okay. All right. So they do different things, right? They add something, they take away something, right? But how is that sustaining their business?
I think they're the leaders of marketing.
Definitely is a marketing, right? What'd you say, Joshua?
That's strategic management.
That is strategic management, but how that you know, on the surface level, yes, they're changing things up and doing different things, right? But how is that keeping them status quo, and how is that generating revenue for them? Aside from just the fact that you're gonna get new people in, how's that generating revenue for them?
Everything costs more.
Everything costs more, right? Okay, but if you pay attention to when Apple makes a change about their product, right? A new Apple phone comes out and it does something new, right? What's normally associated with that?
You mean the marketing part of the business?
Yeah, part of, but overall, everything. The marketing, yes, but when Apple makes a change to their phone, right? Yeah, it's an upgrade, but there's something else that if you pay attention, you'll notice too.
Apple events or?
No, and it's more tangible, it's more physical in nature, yeah.
They either make it bigger or smaller, or
Make it bigger or smaller, right? But there's always something that you need to buy additionally. There's always another
they
component,
peripheral.
right? So they took away the headphone jack, right?
now
Yeah,
you gotta
that's
buy
great.
like here.
Now you gotta buy the AirPods. Guess what? We just so happen to have AirPods too. All right, we just made these. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, we're gonna change the power source, right? When I had to use mine as, right? Because mine is a MacBook Air, it's an older model. They changed MacBook Pro, right? This is whatever, USB B or A, whatever, and that's a USB C.
Start selling those newer ones.
You start selling these new things, right?
Yes.
So every change, it's not that the change is there, it's that the things that come with the change that you have to buy in order to stay within the Apple family.
That's why I don't buy it.
Yes.
Can we consider that as a deterrent for sale too? Because.
Yes, absolutely,
Yes.
yes.
They are losing money.
Yeah, absolutely, because they're gonna lose customers. Yeah, people are gonna leave.
Well, not necessarily when it comes to Apple.
No,
Because the
no,
majority of people who
majority
love
of people
Apple
don't, but
will
people,
only
they're definitely
Apple.
gonna, they're definitely
But
gonna.
you'll never get me into an Apple.
Yeah.
I've had an Apple
That's what I'm
once,
saying,
and
yeah.
I hate Apple, and I'll never
Right.
buy Apple.
I love Apple, but I'm not buying all the junk that comes with it, right? I'm buying aftermarket. I just got an iPhone 13. I had an iPhone 7. And the only reason I got it because, you know, these updates.
Won't,
It's,
aren't supported by
yeah,
itself.
it just slowed my thing down, and
Yeah.
I had to delete pictures every time I wanted to take a picture. It was embarrassing. So, it was just tough. So either way, this is how they sustain, okay? It's that they give you something and you're like, oh, this is great. But guess what? You need to buy an XYZ, and XYZ costs $60 a pop. Have you seen the charger? Has anybody ever tried to buy a charger? A new,
Yeah, it costs like around 50.
yeah, I got mine from Amazon. It was $30 on Amazon.
No, these are like the original.
I don't know. I just know it works. Okay, because when I went to Best Buy and other stores, it was $65, and I was like, nope, not doing that. Okay, and so that's how they sustain. Now, last topic, you got your retrenchment or your turnaround, right? And you start to go down, okay? Companies want to try to figure out, okay, how do I still make money? How do I still, kind of maintain as I'm degrading, as I'm sunsetting, all right? As I'm trying to close things out or the business is kind of dying out, right? So for instance, DVDs perhaps, or, we see it in companies, Blockbuster, Sears, all right? JC Penney, right? All these companies, right? They just kind of were at the top, right? Sears was the oldest company in the world, I think, at one point. Right? I think Macy's is the second or something like that. All right. And can you find a Sears now? Yeah, it's like one or two. There's one in Mission Valley, I think. And
There used to be a Sears outlet out there. now.
yeah,
Up in Rancho.
it's still there, but they mostly sell big bulk items and stuff like that, right? Yeah. So when you're looking at, sort of the strategy for, retracement or trying to take advantage of the downward spiral, you'll see, like everybody familiar with the Nautica brand, right? You think Nautica is still a good company?
And there's one thing, if the company's good, or has the perception changed?
Change. Okay. You know that Nautica is not a company anymore, right? It's not a company anymore. No, it didn't disappear. It got bought out. So what happened is they filed for bankruptcy, and these companies, the LVH company specifically, which is the biggest retailer conglomerate in the world, right? They purchase Nautica, and what they do is they keep the brand going, but they kill the company. So the clothes are still being made, but Nautica as a company is no longer existing. The brand does. And it's now just a brand within their portfolio, and they sell it and make money off of that, right? And so there's different ways in which, companies try to, strategize on how do we still make money on the way down, okay? How do we take advantage of that? All right. Any questions? No? There's a few more slides, and then there's another PowerPoint, but it has 12 slides and it's pretty straightforward, okay?
Just have a question about the groups. I'm not sure.
Yeah, did you get the email?
Did not see.
Check your email, should be on there. I think they broke up the groups already.
So, Glorious Destiny put people into two different groups, 5 people in each. The group that I'm in the group with him, and with 3 other people.
Oh, okay.
I put out for a
That's
Zoom
not right.
meeting for 5 of us,
No.
only 3 of us showed up. So the 3 of us are now a group, and we're doing our assignment, and then the other people are whatever, I'm not worried about
As far as the groups go,
That group one.
that.
I mean, for this, week's,
for RD2,
You don't.
It's just the one with-
look at the email,
Yeah.
he sent it out to the whole
I
class,
know I
okay?
told him to-
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so
I just know that.
I don't care about what group you're in, how many groups there are. My main concern is that everyone is in a group and that you have someone to work with. If I get 6 different submissions, that's fine, I don't care. right? This is an exercise in team dynamics, in, collaboration, in dealing with different people and kind of, coming together and coordinating and things like that, okay? So figure out what group you're in, look at the email, and unless you're unhappy with the group you're in, all right, then have a conversation amongst yourself, like, hey, I don't like this, Glorious. I don't appreciate you doing this or whatever. I want a different group, whatever the case may be. And remember that the groups can change for every week that we have a group discussion, right? Weeks 2, 4, 6, and 8 are all group research discussions, and the groups can change, okay? If you want to work with another person and don't want to be involved in another group, that's fine. As long as you're in a group, and a group is considered 2 or more people, okay? So,
I think I know from you what you mean.
No, Gloria sent it out.
I didn't send it.
Gloria,
No, another student sent it
no,
out.
Gloria sent it out, a couple days ago, it's in your student email, all of us were on it, you,
Yeah, I was
Dr.
on it.
Page was on it as well, but he didn't contribute anything to it, I think you were on there for informational.
Yeah, I didn't.
So it's in, Gloria's Destiny, he's out in Houston.
Yeah.
So
He's one of
he
the
just kind of
students.
took he just kind of took the initiative
Check,
to.
can you,
put people
Crystal,
in.
can you forward around the email?
Yeah, I'll forward it. to you.
Yeah. Just,
Either
because he may
tomorrow.
not, he may not have it.
Yeah, you're in the system.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
because I use always my Gmail.
No, so it's the student.
It's in
email.
the student
my
email,
phone.
yeah. So unless that's your
Your school
designated
email.
email, yeah, it could, Gmail sometimes
I'll
it
check
designate
it
that,
out.
but check,
Yeah,
check your
it's in
student
the
email.
student.
Alright, alright, any questions? Zoom, class, anything? No? Alright, I will see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Alright. Alright, my Zoomers. Have a good night. Thank you for
Thank you.
being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you, bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Baba. Have a good one.
Bye.
That,
I know, I'm probably.
You said you're,
I know, you know.
like, and I don't know quite the right word, but you're certifying in strength finders?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we do, our consultant it. Yeah.
What made you choose that over like going and getting certified in DISC or?
Well, one of my professors